This week we'll be talking about Nintendo Direct Mini being a biggie, God of War fans are the worst, and if video game fans in general have a problem. Overwatch 2 beta impressions, and more on Season 6, Episode 25, Press X to Start podcast. Grooving there. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka Dussy. Who else is here?
I'm your heavyweight champion from Witch Nigga Boy, California, aka the janitor because we watch niggas, aka Marcussy.
Keep the train rolling.
This is Sean MF Ross.
What the MF stand for?
On Yossi.
I thought he was gonna say mother pussy.
Mother pussy. Who's next? Come on.
I'm Avery.
Come on. That Avery.
The silent sissy. The disappearing. Let me stop.
No. Come back to the screen.
We kind of need him for the next part. That's who we are. Press X Star Podcast is a weekly show where we talk about the latest gaming news, review the biggest games, and give you our thoughts on the games we're playing. Oh, okay. Our goal is to expand the video game media landscape through an underserved point of view. I got tears in my eyes. Oh my god.
Press X to Stussy.
At least it ain't extra spit in your mouth for once. Remember when that was a problem?
You're right. Don't forget, hit that look-see, click on that subscribe, and then hit that notification button.
I'm just leaving. I don't. It's not what I signed up for. I came here to talk about hard-hitting video game news from an outside perspective.
Oh my god. No, you're right. You know what? I like that. We'll definitely do that. Avery.
Hard hitting, like Jana Jameson's Real Sex 3D. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Not that I've ever played that.
Now that you know what kind of podcast you're gonna get, now let's jump into the quick hits. Avery, take it away.
Really? That's your set? That I need a full 5 minutes of just like dead air silence before we jump into this.
This man brought up Jenna Jameson. Good God.
Oh my god. Oh,
I haven't heard that name in years.
Just leaked.
Could have been
a fortnight.
Could have been worse.
Oh, it could have been way worse, yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway. Avery. Take it away.
Oh no, we gotta wait about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Oh my gosh. Whenever you're ready, Avery.
Okay, so we had a Nintendo Direct Mini, which is essentially Nintendo's first, inclusion in Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest 2022, which I kind of forgot we were still technically in. So there's some great branding for you. But yeah, they had a mini direct, which they said is going to focus on third-party partners, and I was generally whelmed. There was, for me, they made a bunch of announcements and a lot of cool things for the Nintendo Switch, like, I guess, library of games. But in terms of, like, the greater E3 sort of environment, it's like there was nothing of any consequence, especially if you compare this third-party direct with what the PlayStation third-party state of play was. There was not much meat there. But essentially what they talked about was a big thing for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which is an expansion of a game that is already on Switch out, and then Capcom has already had their own thing about. So that reminds you there. Nier Automata at the end of the year, your edition is getting put on Switch. So if you're a Nier fan, I guess, and also plays on Switch, it's there for you too.
Wait, real quick, before I'm showing video of the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak only because watching this, I was kind of amazed by how good it looked. And I remember playing the demo,
Probably,
and it's like,
it's probably the PC version of the game.
oh,
The game is out
that's
also on PC.
dirty. Okay,
Upsetting.
yeah, because I was watching some and stuff. I was like, oh, this actually looks really, really good, and I was like, oh, this is kind of an amazing like performance jump from what I played from the demo. But
Switch could
if they
never.
are just kind of showing, that's what I'm thinking. Like if they show the
Switch could-
PC version, that's
Yeah, Switch
fine.
cannot. There's an Annapurna game called Lorelei and the Laser Eye. So if you like Annapurna games, this looks like a cool Annapurna game that will probably be on every platform real quick. So there was Super Bomberman R2. So I guess yeah. Something that's cool.
Bomberman is always cool.
Yeah, something I thought was cool, but it's just one of those things. Okay, was that the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection? I remember playing those games on GBA, and I love a good RPG. So I'm like, that's great. It's not all the Mega Man Battle Network games, but it's at least 3 of them. So, Pac-Man World Repack, which is I guess the 3D platforming game. I'm not sure if this is a brand new game or one of the old 3D platforming Pac-Man games.
I think it's just a remastered version of one of the original ones that I played a demo of course.
Something that stood out amongst the wheat and chaff of it was Blanc, which is published by Gearbox, and it's that Fox and the Hound game, except you're a fox and a deer, and it's all black and white. The game looks good.
Is this game also about racism?
I mean, like, it's obviously going to be set up to like you're going to be traveling with this unlikely pair, and then something tragic is probably going to happen where the deer has to eat or where the fox have to eat, or the wolf or the fox have to eat the deer, and like the fox is like, I don't want to do it, but the deer's like, you have to eat me, because if you don't eat me, you're going to freeze to death, and we're both going to die. So
and then the deer's like, let me inside of you. Inside of that.
Don't do it. Don't you do it. You sound like an old car trying to start up. Keep moving on.
They also showed Return to Monkey Island, so we got a little bit more of that. That's cool.
And
Wait a goddamn minute. What do they mean by that?
Return to Monkey Island.
And
yeah.
then,
So wait. Before we jump, there was some game fans being idiots, and essentially they were kind of upset. Not kind of. They were very upset by how the Return to Monkey Island looked, and they started to hammer on the developer. I don't remember his name.
Ron
to the point where
it looks like ass comparatively.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't have any reference for Return to Monkey Island. Like, I've actually never seen anything on Monkey Island. I've just heard of it. So in my mind, I saw it's like, oh, this looks fine. Like, I don't really.
But I think the game looks good. I think I think the game looks good. I think people complaining about it doesn't look like the old games. I mean, you're SOL, I guess. Like, this isn't like I don't.
Yeah.
Like,
so essentially, the developer he basically came out on Twitter and said like, hey, I'm not going to be sharing anything else. Like, it basically broke him essentially, and it's just like, oh, that sucks. That really sucks. And then it was a thing of everyone wanted him to come back and make the game, so he put it together. He made the game, and the whole vocal minority thing just being a problem. So yeah.
I think the game looks great. I'm not excited for the game because I don't give a shit about those type of games comparatively. But I think the game looks great. I really shout out to the creative team from Knights and Bikes, who are the art team for this game. I think their art style really pops here. Then we got Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which, hey, this game is actually coming out. I'm pretty sure they gave a release date, and Ubisoft went on later to have a Ubisoft showcase for the game afterwards. So comparatively, it was the biggest game here, but most of the real info we got at the Ubisoft thing afterwards. They showed off.
Wait,
I'm just gonna skip
again. I think that's it, right?
There are a couple more games after that.
Okay, but yeah, I just want to hang on this.
Did you play it?
Play the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played it. I fell off of it because I just didn't. I liked that. I guess that XCOM-y type. I don't remember the actual
Yeah.
style that it's called, but like I like
Yeah.
those games. I just fell off of it because it just. I think it just. There wasn't enough for me there because I ended up playing like maybe about 3 or 4 hours of the game. So like I got into it, but it was just wasn't enough. Like from what they showed from this, let me just actually jump to gameplay because they're just BSing a little bit, So like what they showed from this, I really, really like this, and I'm definitely gonna pick this up. So I was really happy with like the fact that they made it
Uh,
like kind of running around. You don't like it?
what do you
Did you
mean by that?
prefer the first?
Running around?
Yeah, so like it's no longer grid based. So you can like run around, you can get to cover
Mm,
easy, not easier, but
no,
yeah,
that's.
see like
I mean, I it's neither here or there in terms of what it's better. I mean, it's still
mm,
operating on grid base. It's just now instead of having complex control of what you're like, where you're moving to and where you're thing, now you're also having to deal with every little movement I make now subtract from what I can make.
Yeah.
Movement. At least that's what I'm assuming. It could easily be like, oh, you
Action
can
you
mm.
just
can do.
or easily be like, oh, you can move out anywhere you want in this thing, and there's no real like penalty to that because I think that was probably what they would do. But in my head, when you give a character in the XCOM like games that give you full on movement of your character in that space, there's tends to be a limit to the amount of movement you can make in that space.
Oh, real quick. What they're showing right now is that every character has like a super type ability that is, unique to that character, and they're able to do something in a way that like kind of changes the battlefield in a little bit or affects the battlefield in some way.
My
But
only want. Oh, sorry,
mm?
my
Oh,
only
I was just
want.
gonna say that. Oh.
Oh wow. Okay, we keep fucking this
You
up.
go
My
ahead. You
bad.
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, my only want is they fix the whole thing where you can only play as a team of Mario plus rabbits or just full rabbits. Cause like fuck that noise. I wanted to play as just Mario, Peach, and Luigi through this game, and I
Oh,
had to use the rabbits.
yeah.
Yeah.
From what I saw, because I actually watched the coverage, they didn't talk about the team composition and how that would work. But in terms of moving around, I think it is a thing of you get a field around you. You can move around anywhere in that field, and then you end your or you move and then you attack or whatever, and then you end your turn. So I don't think it's going to be like every step you take, it's detracting from like some kind of counter or something. But yeah, yeah, it's really cool. I like the new character Edge or whatever, and they showed Bowser, so I was like, whatever, I'll give it a chance. I'll give it another shot, and it looks really
Edge from
cool
the
too.
WWE is in this game.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. Well, actually, I believe in this Edge is a woman because I think when they were either talking about her, they used she/her pronouns, but I'm
2022,
not.
man.
I believe so. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and this is coming out this year. So let me. Whew, whew. I almost clicked stop recording. Oh my god.
Yeah, I would
I
have been
can
okay
just.
with that. Anyway, they showed a bunch of smaller games like Little
Jesus.
Noah, Scion of Paradise, Railgrade. Showed an interesting game called RPG Time: Legend of Right. The funny thing about this game is we've already seen it. I think we saw it ages ago.
Yeah.
It's being published by Aniplex, which, if you know, is a subsidiary of Sony, which
Oh, that's
which
interesting.
had the most interesting interaction on Twitter between Shuhei Yoshida and like fans of this game. And that someone pointed out it was by Aniplex, and he's like, "Huh? Like, why is it PlayStation? Why aren't we as PlayStation dealing with this game? Why is it here?" Anyway, they showed off more Sonic Frontiers.
Wow.
There's not much to say about this game. If you're a fan of this game, you're already a fan of this game. There's nothing you can do.
LOL.
Yeah, there's nothing that can be changed about interpretations of this game. Disney
Well, there
Dreamlight.
was there was one important thing that was showed in the. I'm actually trying to pull it up right now,
I kind of want to
but
move on, but let's go.
well, okay, they showed cyberspace. Essentially, it is kind of what a lot of people were asking for in terms of um this whole open world stuff looks kind of boring and there's not really much to do. So actually, I got it. I got it right here. I got it right here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at how I can make things happen with a push of a button. Boom. And boom, that's cyberspace.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, this is really cool. This is actually what a lot of people wanted for when they're talking about wanting an open world Sonic game kind of thing. And it's gone. There you go. All right, that's it. That's all I wanted to show.
Then they showed off Disney's Dreamlight Valley, Live a Live Again, Doraemon Harvest Moon game, which is interesting. Minecraft Legends got shown off here as well. Dragon Quest Treasures. Portal got. I'm pretty sure they re-showed the Portal collection on Switch. So if you're a big Portal fan, there's Portal on Switch. Harvestella, which sparked the wow, Square is just putting out games meme on Twitter. Which, and then they ended with the 3 Persona games, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal all being on Switch. Like I said, this is a Nintendo Direct that, frankly, unless you're the most hardcore Nintendo fan, where like just the idea of games existing on Switch makes you happy, then like you didn't need to watch this.
Yeah, the Persona 5 Royal coming to Switch. I told Shireen, and she was super happy for that because she wanted to play Persona. So
Really?
yeah, yeah, she was really interested. It's that like I was like, oh well, it's for PlayStation, and she's like, well, that's not gonna work. I was like,
I mean,
I can't
DJ
wait
could
to
not
hear
play
about
Genshin for like a week and let your wife play the best Persona game of all time. I mean,
well, actually, no. At that point, it was more so just Gundam. It was just actually
even
DJ,
worse.
Gundam in another game.
Even worse.
DJ, I'm gonna need you to start up a segment in what we've been playing when she starts playing Persona 5, where you tell us about who she's romancing and what she's been up to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll just say words because I'll have no idea what the context is around it. Oh man. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think pretty much to get to what Avery was saying, like this was a show for people who have Switch and want games to play for their Switch, and Nintendo's giving them games to play for their Switch. Me personally, I think there's a couple games on here that I really enjoyed. I kind of talked about those. Yeah, that's it. I just kind of took it as that and kept it moving.
Yes. Anyway, so our next story is Kotaku.com. This is from Zach Schweisen. After nearly a decade of development, Ubisoft's pirate game likely out in November. So we all remember Skull and Bones, which is the spin-off to Assassin's Creed. Okay, well, it's the spin-off to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, in which that game was like a surprise to everyone at the beginning of the PlayStation 4 generation. It sold really well. So Ubisoft was like, all right, we're going to spin off the pirate section and make it its own game. And then that game was in development hell for like nearly 10 years. At one point, it was a game that was you're only on ships. And everyone was like, oh, this is weird. Then at one certain point, it was a game of service kind of a situation. Like, it's also kind of weird. Like, we didn't know what the fuck this game was going on. I think it was being made by Ubisoft Singapore. And I think something that got involved in this game was like the Singaporean government was like, we need this game to come out. It's like part of our, like, it's a whole thing. Long story short, on the Xbox, like, back end, it got leaked that, like, the game is coming out sometime in November. So the game is, I believe, coming out sometime in November. I'm going to keep it a buck. I was super excited for this game because it was a spin-off of Black Flag, and Black Flag is such a fucking awesome game. And I've lost all interest in this game. It also didn't help that I've lost all interest in Assassin's Creed. So, like, the one thing that was tied me to it is just entirely gone. And I have no idea what this game is anymore. So
I don't even know what it looks like.
Well, I mean, they only showed like one video like years ago, so I wouldn't hold you to remember what it looks like. But it was just, I think it was just like a boat on ocean. It was like, oh, the water looks really cool. I'm
Someone
kind
called
of
it a pirate version of Destiny.
yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. But yeah, like I'm kind of excited for this because as much as I played as Black Flag, I didn't beat Black Flag. I really did enjoy the ship combat, and I thought that was really cool. And for them to spin off something like that, and like pretty much what Avery saying, like how he was excited for, it, like I was also excited for it. And then what they showed is like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. Like I would enjoy doing that. And then it just kind of went dark for years. And it's like, oh, are they still working on it? And then we get like rumors here and there about like, oh, what's happening? It's in development hell or whatever. And then now we get the rumor of it coming out in November. I feel like Ubisoft is going to show something that's going to be impressive. Only because at this point they have had it cooking for so long that if it wasn't going to be good, they wouldn't waste their time and they'd just probably drop it and just push out another Assassin's Creed or something.
Well, okay,
like
so
I don't.
On that point, if the rumors I've heard about the reason this game has to come out is because of the Singaporean government, I don't think Ubisoft is like, oh, it has to be good. It's just like, oh, this has to be a game. and it has to come out. I think this may or may not
Oh,
be like the we're just cutting our losses. This game just has to come out, and we need to move on. Because
what was the rumor about the Singaporean government?
I believe the rumor is the Singaporean. I think because the game is made by Ubisoft Singapore, there is some government stuff like tied into it, like subsidies and like government credits and things like that may be involved, and that is like and I think that is saying that the game has to come out. This isn't a game that Ubisoft can just quietly just cancel after all the things that happened. This is the game that just has to come out.
Okay.
So in my head, they're like, since we've heard nothing of it for years, this is one of those in it's Prime Summer, and they haven't even spoken about this, and this is all leaked information from the back end. This is a game that's like they're just going to one day just have out. They're gonna like talk about it like maybe a month beforehand. They give it some marketing, but not enough marketing to be like we're putting all our efforts into this.
Yeah, like if I don't hear anything by August about this game, then I'll be like, oh, this is probably gonna be crap. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, I mean, okay. Well, before we jump into Kojima talking about his concept for a boys, or I guess the boys game that he wanted to work on. Hey there. Are you enjoying this episode? You are? Great. If you're listening to the podcast, then please leave a review on the podcast app that you're using. If you're watching us, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. After that, you can go to pressx2start.com. There you'll find all the information about us, the podcast, the links to all of our social media channels, and to our Discord. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Now back to the podcast.
Okay, before DJ decided to just not read the script, our next story is from Paul Tassi from Forbes. Report claims that Cyberpunk 2077 bugs weren't caught because a QA company lied to CDPR. So this is from a 72-page document that was released by a whistleblower, YouTuber named Upper Echelon Games, who reports on CD Projekt Red stuff. He claims in the allegations, this is most of the stuff in the document is just all internal CD Projekt stuff, and they assert that Quantic Lab over-exaggerated the size of their team working on Cyberpunk in order to keep the contract. The Quantic Lab said the team was made of senior staff, but it was instead made of juniors with under 6 months of experience in QA. Quantic Lab had a daily quota of reported bugs, which led to CDPR getting thousands of relatively pointless bug reports from testers, which took upon a lot of time and caused game-breaking issues to not be found or play tested. So they're assessing that like they were just straight up within this document that they were straight up lied to, and its team of quality QA was just like farming bugs to them to make it seem like they were doing work when they really weren't focusing on the thing the CDPR noted. An addendum to this report is that there have been other people who have talked about how that the claims in this report and the whistleblowing things is all fake, that the CDPR team had been working on this game and they knew its problems going into it, and that it wasn't the whistleblower that this team is not responsible for the state of CD Projekt of Cyberpunk. I guess the management of the team also has come out and like refuted this document and said that it's all bullshit and lies and everything like that. Yeah. I don't really know who to believe regards into this document. That I will say that this is a whistleblower leaked information. This wasn't information that CD Projekt Red put out there to have a oops, we're sorry guys, this is the real reason. This is just something that happened to be a part of the reason that they alleged, and it was leaked out whether this was leaked on purpose by CD Projekt Red or leaked accidentally, I don't know. It's just an interesting story.
Yeah, it's one of those things where based off of my, experience testing, this kind of feels kind of weird that cuz CD Projekt Red would know the state of their game. Like they are farming out the testing, but they're also playing the game. So for them to be like, "Oh, we just kind of faked a lot of the bugs or whatever," like those bugs are very noticeable. So they're going to see the bug. So it's like I don't know, it's weird. This feels very weird to me. And it like the fact that it's a whistleblower thing and it didn't come out of CD Projekt Red, and CD Projekt Red wasn't necessarily trying to throw the blame onto them, and they're also saying like, yeah, we played our game, we knew how bad it was. kind of sucks. That you also knew how bad it was. But like, yeah, I don't know. This just feels weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's also the timing of it is just strange because it's just so far removed from all of the controversy. So it's kind of like,
Nobody
okay,
gave a shit anymore. Why you keep bringing this up?
right?
We've moved past it.
I mean, that could also be part of it too. Be like, hey, this is information out there, even though no one cares about it. But
Well, the context is that a YouTuber who's built their, I guess, identity around reporting on CD Projekt Red games, specifically Cyberpunk 2077. This is their bag to talk about this, which is why this got brought out into the news. This is yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. On to the story that DJ wanted to talk about. Hideo Kojima, this is from IGN. This is from Ryan Dinsdale from the Dinsdale Dimmadome. Shout out to Blessing Hideo Jr., who, if you're listening to this, had his recent birthday. So I'm just giving a shout out to happy birthday. It's always nice to see a young black king rising up in the ranks of video games journalism. Don't let these white men, aka Greg Miller, hold you down. I'm joking. Anyway, Hideo Kojima says he worked on a concept similar to The Boys and wanted Matt Mikkelsen as the lead.
Yeah, so this is really cool because I am currently watching The Boys, and generally I like to keep my TV content and my video game content like segregated. Like I don't necessarily want to see
Separate but equal. We get it.
Yeah, I don't want to play a Stranger Things. Stranger Things, right? I don't know why I forget the title of that. I don't want to play a Stranger Things game. Like they had a game that really seems like this is.
Why not?
Because
What if it's a good game?
I mean, I guess if it's good. I mean, if it's good, then
you're playing a Gundam game. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Hey, but like, but in the anime, they pilot the Gundams to do this stuff. So like,
you play Dragon Ball Z games.
Shut up, okay?
We're sorry, listeners. He's been exposed as a hypocrite, and he is backpedaling now.
But anyways, yeah. So, I actually think The Boys. I think Hideo Kojima making like The Boys type of video game would be so cool for how he just interprets media and just his like. I didn't play Death Stranding, but I could appreciate like the creativity he put into.
Glad you finally admitted it.
What? I admitted it on the review. I just said I watched it.
Yet you kept saying you played it, you son of a bitch.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because I pressed play. That's right. You're right. But yeah, yeah. I just think like this would have been really, really cool. It would probably turned out better than what the Suicide Squad game is shaping up to be. But that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, I mean, it just sucks that he's not. And then he's going to have Matt Mikkelsen as the lead. Like that would have been a treat. Yeah.
That's the least surprising part of any Hideo Kojima story is that he wanted to work with Mads Mikkelsen because he is in love with that man, down tremendous. But no, yeah, I'm curious like what that would even look like. What that game would look like. But I would have been so intrigued. I'm right there with you, DJ, that just given the way that Kojima processes media and how big of a film and television fan he is, I think that would have been a really interesting thing. Also, it kind of would have been interesting to see his take on it, just as coming from a different culture, because like we don't really see much like outside of maybe My Hero and a couple of other stories. We don't really see much in terms of like Japanese interpretations of superhero or like their viewpoint of.
Well, it depends if you're using the context of superhero as in Western Superman and Batman and things like that. Yes. But using the context of superhero,
that's what I mean in terms of like, because like they had Super Sentai and stuff like that. But I mean like the way that My Hero, The Boys, and whatnot like kind of show these superheroes as like brands and corporate entities and everything like that. Like it would have been interesting to see take on that in a video game format, but alas, we'll just have
I
to
mean,
deal with never knowing.
isn't Metal Gear kind of like this in a way where like because Solid Snake doesn't really have any powers, but he's like fighting like Ocelot and no.
Not really.
Okay. Okay.
It's definitely him
He's
more
not a
talking about the
costumed.
military and
Yeah, that's a
huh?
good point.
I was saying he's not a
Yeah,
costumed hero, as I think what
Yeah,
he's trying to get at.
that's a
right.
good point.
It's definitely more him talking about the military industrial complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I get you. But yeah, this would have been a cool thing for him to work on. Hopefully he's putting this down, but then he would come back to it in a couple of years, once boys kind of die down. Maybe.
True.
Yeah. What's next, Avery?
Okay, this is another story from Kotaku. This is from Sissy Jing. This is latest Genshin Impact leaks spark whitewashing controversy. Okay, so the thing about Genshin is that it has culturally its main culturally its main areas of exploration are based on real world cultures, so they're mashed up into a fantasy blender. So you've got areas that are based on Japan, China, Germany. There's areas that are based on Russia, etc. An area that's been in the game, I believe, is called Sumeru, is based
Sumeru.
on South
Sumeria.
Asian. Sumerian implies there's an IA at the end. It's
Yeah,
I think
you're right.
it's Sumeru.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is the
Yeah.
end of the U. Sorry. Continue.
Is based on sort of a South Asian, like South Northern Africa sort of like aesthetic, and some of the leaks revealed like at least 3 or 4 of the characters who all share the same skin palette that the majority of the Genshin cast shares, and portion of the Genshin audience is justifiably upset at that.
So the character that I'm showing right now, Kaya, he's the only dark skinned guy in the game, and then and you can see he's not very dark skinned. I'll find the other person as Avery continues talking.
I don't have much to say.
Okay. Yeah, this is I totally agree with the whole whitewashing of the characters, and it's a thing that I find super annoying. I've found super annoying, and at this point I'm just like, all right, whatever. It's China making this game, so I
They
don't
didn't.
have super high
Mm.
expectations.
Yeah, if it was an American studio, maybe you could expect a little bit more. But
Right, yeah. There is a lady in the game, and I'm
Her name
trying
is
to
Jean
find
Yu.
her. Yes, yes. There is that her? Is that her? Nope, that's
Is
not
she
her.
the girl with the guitar?
Yeah, yeah.
Then that's
I'm
her.
looking for her. I didn't find her. I thought that was her with someone
Yeah.
else. But yeah, so like there's only 2 actually like quote unquote dark skinned characters in the game. And it is a thing of just like, come on. Like you guys hit literally every white skin tone you've nailed it. All right. Like just let's get into like the tander version of them. Let's get into the darker skin
DJ,
characters.
are you white? You don't know all the white skin tones. Maybe they haven't hit them all. Maybe they're trying to hit a quota. And then they'll move on to us. All right?
They're trying to be the first game to hit all of the white skin tones.
You know, at this point though, like
Allow it.
I almost don't even want to see them go tan if they're just gonna have them have the same facial structure and everything, and
That's
just
another
like
one of the arguments against this as a whole is that there are areas that are based on Japan, China,
Yeah.
Germany, distinct areas. But then when they got to the Sumeru, it's based on a hodgepodge of different cultures and countries and ethnic states. So it's like it's not even getting the due diligence of being, oh, this is Thailand or this is Pakistan. This is all of them rolled up in one big ball because we don't have any. Because we want to have the
That's the
specific
character,
type
by
of
the way.
yeah.
That's
To-
quote unquote dark
We
skin.
want to have a specific type of aesthetic for a world.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty it's a thing that I just I try not to think about as I'm, grinding out these characters, but it is very annoying, and it'd be nice to see some kind of representation, but I'm also just not expecting anything. But yeah, I'm 100% with the fans who are outraged by this because, yeah, I mean, we're all playing the game. Like, come on.
I am. It's one of those things where like I understand the outrage, and and I understand where it's coming from in terms of like why this is happening from the Hoyoverse. Like, it's China has some really weird. China is the main focus of this game. I want to remind everyone that when Diablo Immortal was announced, they removed the one black character from the Diablo 3 cast into that game to market it for China. So that's a fun piece of anecdotal information to know about sort of the Chinese market. So I'm not shocked that this happened. Like, a Chinese studio didn't sit there and like, we need to check diversity tokens in terms of our development. I know I am guilty of this as a creator, in that, like, as someone who's obsessed with fucking Arthurian myth, when I create fantasy worlds, all of them look like European fantasy, except one section that will be inevitably Japanese, because that's the only other thing I'm super into. So it's like I get the creative like pitfalls of running into something like that, but it's one of those things that's it sucks for the dark skinned Genshin fans who want to see themselves represented in this game.
Yeah.
Moving on. This is a follow up to a conversation we had last week about Roe v. Wade and various studios reacting to this. This is from Sushi Jang again from Kotaku. Tensions rise at Bethesda as employees pressure company on abortion measures. So when the Roe v. Wade stuff happened, Microsoft remained relatively quiet. When it reached out, they pretty much just pointed to their policies about abortion and things like that, but they didn't really make a line in the sand about how anyone really felt about the matter. Bethesda was one of the few studios who actually, in the Microsoft umbrella, I believe only two, them and Double Fine, who said anything. And the Bethesda statement is, we believe the ability to make choices about one's body and lifestyle is a human right. What's apparently is the tension has like internally the company is falling apart because on this issue, because the people aren't exactly clear on whether Bethesda proper is going to follow the Microsoft like quote unquote guideline for abortion rights, and Bethesda apparently isn't being clear on that. There are multiple members of the Bethesda like community who are anti Roe v. Wade and are calling this a victory, and they're being relatively vocal within company channels about how this is something that we supported. There are people who find Bethesda's actual response, we believe the ability to make choices about one's lifestyle is a human right. The lifestyle thing is like a coded message to LGBT people about like certain aspects. So it's like it's a clusterfuck going on right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna want to do some digging on this to figure out like what's happening on the inside. Yeah, but it sucks, man. Like, when you when you put out vague statements like that, of course people can just be like, well, what the hell does that mean? Like, what does that mean? So this is what they go.
Yeah, it leaves up too much for interpretation. And
Exactly.
so it's like, that's why I'm so adamant about people just planting a flag in the sand and standing on that, because that way at least nobody can be like you said, what do you mean by that? It's clear.
It also doesn't help that Bethesda is one of two Microsoft studios that said anything. That Microsoft as a whole didn't point a flag in the sand. Like I mentioned this last time, that like Sony SIE actually did point a flag in the sand in regards to how they feel, but that was already buoyed by pretty much 50% to 75% of their studios all coming together and putting a statement that pretty much reads, I read like this: a major company doesn't have to say anything if everyone below them is saying the exact same thing, which is pretty clear that this is what the company stands for. Then the company went on after the fact and saying, hey, this is what we stand for. But I think a quote from someone who works at Bethesda is, we waited with bated breath on Friday for studios to issue a statement as other studios beat us to the punch by several hours. So it's one of those things where this wasn't like, oh, we're clearly like waiting on like corporate oversight to be like, what message did we put out? This is like, we don't know if we're putting out a message.
Right. Yeah. Man, that is troubling.
Yeah. It sucks. I'm hoping that Microsoft remains committed to at least being supported of abortion rights and policies as a corporate thing altogether. I'm not actually sure of the corporate structure between Bethesda, Xbox, Microsoft, and all that, and whether Bethesda actually falls under that. Because despite it being a Microsoft subsidiary, they're still considered a separate entity, and all things that like it was the Xbox Bethesda showcase and not just the Xbox showcase. So we'll see. Our next story is this is a Sean story.
What is it?
This yeah. This is from Polygon. This is from Nicole Carpenter. Like the PS5 design, maybe you'll like Sony's new gaming monitor and headsets. So a couple weeks ago, Sean posted in our Slack channel that Sony was announcing something called The Zone. And they said it was like, are you ready for The Zone? In Zone is what they're calling it. But it was introduced to us as In the Zone or some bullshit like that. Anyway, it was announced as a form of high grade PC oriented monitors and headset for gaming. These are prohibitively expensive for me in regards to like the headset looks super dope. I'd love to get one, but I don't have $300-$400 to pay for a
that's wild.
A gaming wireless headset. I do know that, shout out to Valorant fans, Sony has a marketing deal with Play Valorant for the next Masters tournament in Copenhagen, where they're going to be using all this stuff. So like, it seems to be of a good enough quality that like esports athletes are being like, yeah, we would 100% use this tech.
That's pretty good. I mean, if they can get esports into it, then they're pretty much set. Like, that should work for them. I don't know. I don't really got much to say that. I'm not getting any of this stuff, so I'm just like, all right, cool. Keep it moving, Sony.
Sean?
I like the look of them. I am using the Steel series, and I tend to buy anything that has like USB Type-C. And I'm kind of upset that like they released the updated version of the headset that I'm using maybe like 3 months after with USB Type-C. So like the only reason I might get the headset is for that, so I don't have to use a different charging cord. Like I use these wired with the controller now just because I don't feel like charging them up. Yeah. So I mean, I may or may not get it. I don't know, but I mean these work. These are fine. I don't know.
Yeah, if I'm ever in the market for a good gaming monitor for my PC when I eventually upgrade, I might look into the In Zone, and hopefully by that point it's a more affordable thing. I think it does look really dope compared to it will look really dope right next to my PlayStation, so that's cool. But anyway, let's move on to our next story. This is from Jeremy Winslow from Kotaku. God of War Ragnarok producers asked Rabid fans to chill out over reveal rumors. So what happened was, there was another story that we eventually cut, but it was talking about Sly Cooper. But long story short, there's been a lot of leaks and people leaking information and essentially saying stuff that studios haven't outright confirmed, and it's led to a lot of fans being just rabid and, let's just say, unacceptably being assholes to developers, like sending dick pics and whatnot to them.
I have never sent an unsolicited dick pic. I just don't understand.
Long story short, it's people being angry. There's no reveal date.
But like,
that's wild, dude. The sending dick pictures, though, like that's wild.
Okay. I know people send unsolicited dick pics because I'm a man and I know all of the things that people do.
You have friends.
Angry dick pics? Angry dick pics? Like, what? What are you trying to accomplish here? This is not going to make them want to put out the game quicker.
Let me work faster.
What is the thought process? Oh, I'm so mad.
Work faster or the dick
You know
pics
what?
will continue.
The argument that people have been operating under is give us a release date so we can plan our year, because this is going to be a $70 game, and I'd like to know when I can buy it and where I can save the $70 for. That is the prevailing
Save it
argument. That is
now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Alright.
gosh, people are just the worst sometimes.
What
Man.
doesn't help is the insiders saying that, hey, we're getting a state of play about this at this time. We didn't get that state of play. Okay, the game has been delayed. My insider scoop is telling us the game has been delayed eternally. Turns out, the game hasn't been delayed eternally. Like there's so much conflicting information about people reporting on the release date and not the release date, and what's going on in development, that it's just causing rabidity in fans who are just awful in general and are just looking for an opportunity to be awful.
Yeah,
That's
people
the
are
truest
putting
pitfall of the leak culture in the information age. Nothing is
people are
sacred
putting
anymore.
expectations on these leaks versus taking them for a grain of salt, which is what you're supposed to do.
Not
Yep.
everybody deserves internet access.
Oh man.
Corey Brawlog has been relatively consistent on that Ragnarok is coming. So just let us work on it. Stop fucking yelling at us. Just let us finish the game. And all actual reports from reputable sources indicate that the game is still on track for 2022. So there's that. So just calm down. It'll come out sometime at the end of the year. You'll play the game. It will either be the best thing you've ever played or a game. Just deal with it. Move on. And our final story is this is from IGN. This is from Matt Kim. Sega is looking to adapt Atlus games for live-action TV and movies, including Persona. So this appears to be in the wake of the success they've had with Sonic in turning that into a multimedia genre-spanning global franchise, that they want to mine the rest of their IPs, and they're bigger. I think, this is me putting my own thoughts into it, that Persona is bigger than Sonic, but that's not. No, in terms of
It's better.
okay.
I don't know about bigger.
IP, but
Better,
in terms of yeah. And they're if I'm looking at Sega's IP and I'm like, oh, what is the next best thing? What's the next biggest thing that we could turn into a thing? I would turn to Persona. We've had
Live action though, is that?
That's where there have been multiple Persona animes, because Persona is frankly an anime with video game bolted onto it. So, and for the most part, they're good, okay, or not great. They're never as.
Which one was people shooting themselves?
That's Persona 3.
Okay.
Persona 3 does not have an anime.
Hopefully they don't do that one.
No, they have a series of anime movies, I believe.
Okay.
They have like
we had a
OVA,
brief discussion.
right?
Yeah, we've had a brief discussion in our Discord about this matter. I'm of the mindset that I'm not interested at this at all, because I frankly know that an adaptation of Persona is going to try and distance it from the Japaneseness of Persona in terms of its development. I think there's something inherently Japanese within the DNA of the Persona franchise is. I think removing that for the quote unquote diversity aspect is less than interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I sat through and I watched the Bleach live action thing, so I'll probably check this out.
I'm of the mind that either if they do a live action one and it is a fully Japanese cast, then by all means, because you won't hear any detractions from me on that, because I think that is probably the best way to go about it. On the flip side, there is a part of me that could see, but it's a bigger risk, and it opens up the door for too much to go wrong. But I think that there's certain aspects of Persona that could work with a more diverse framework if they did it right. But once again, too much of a risk. So, and they tried to just Americanize it, there's a strong possibility they do it wrong.
like they're basing this entirely on the success of Sonic to mine their IP, and I like the Sonic movies. I think they're fun. I think a lot of those movies are driven by people's nostalgia for Sonic and their willingness to just accept things about the franchise because they're bits of Sonic. Well, I think Persona is the next best and biggest thing that they have in their like IP portfolio. It doesn't have the nostalgia of 30 plus years of Sonic to allow them to get away with things. And so like when Hollywood adaptation of this that's going to make it Western is just like I see them tripping over themselves before they even get to the finish line.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no,
Sorry.
that's why I say it's definitely a risk, you know. So, I am cautiously keeping my eye on it, but would I say I'm excited? No.
That is okay. That is a quick hit.
We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. Don't forget to rate and reviews on your favorite podcasting apps. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on our YouTube channel, your favorite YouTube channel. You know, we just want you to play games. You just have a good time, enjoy it. Yeah, you know, just be true to yourself, you know. Don't let the government weigh you down.